I lost 25 pounds and shaved the beard. Got some sun. Okay, and I went from being unnoticed to noticed, and I'm like, "Whoa, okay."
So you made a physical.
I still got it. I still got it.
Yeah, you're like, huh?
I didn't. I still got it.
He came out of his cave.
You made a physical change.
I did come out of my cave. So that in hindsight, that definitely helped. That little jolt, but and I needed that, and that was part of the reason why we kind of split was because I was just not happy with myself, and it was putting a lot of pressure on the relationship. And she knew it, and she made the decision for both of us, more or less. There wasn't another guy,
right? But at some point, then you're like, "Listen, I was out there. I appreciate what we had so much more. I know what I need to do better," and ask to come back, or she misses you and says, "Come back."
Well, there were a few instances where we were going to get back, but I was having a lot of fun out there.
Oh, so you went from devastated to let's just hold off for a second.
I truthfully, and I'm going to get crucified for this.
Being honest here on the Great Half Debate.
I was like that kid at Disney World on a 5-day pass on the last day, and I had to get on every ride. Okay, and because I knew it was over, I was going home.
So you'd already worked out the going home part.
Yeah. I wanted to go home. I mean, I loved my wife, and I have kids, and the whole deal. And
it calls you on a Wednesday, so let's get back together. And you're like, "I'll see you Monday." I'll see you on the 26th.
Yeah, right. It was kind of like that. But no, at the end of the day, I wanted to go back, and I did miss that. But having the opportunity to get out there gave me a whole new perspective that I didn't have because I was not single for a long time. And it has changed dramatically. I see how it's changed. And I can see how men today are being more fearful when it comes to approaching women because of the exposure. You know, I mean, you look at someone the wrong way. Boom, someone puts. Imagine if there was a reviews out there on dates. Could you imagine if that?
People always bring up that idea. We should have like Yelp for dating. No, because people would you would get a disproportionate amount of bad things because people are negative people.
People only want to read the bad crap.
Yeah, they want to read and they wouldn't focus on it. You're right. And so that's a terrible idea. All of you people who suggest that to me, they're like, maybe you could hook me up with some funding. I cannot. It's a stupid fucking idea.
Okay, someone actually asked you about
people
that?
ask me all the time, like, it's a good idea, Yelp for dating. I'm like, no, because you couldn't control it and you get into slander. It's mostly women.
Women, yeah.
They're like, that's a good idea. That's a terrible idea.
It's a terrible idea.
But yeah, it's the negativity in the dating, but also...
I mean, I just don't want everyone to know I have a massive cock.
Yeah, I know.
mean, that would be embarrassing.
It would be embarrassing. It would be humiliating.
It'd be humiliating for me.
Yeah. It's like, that's why he walks. That's why he has to ride the unicycle. Can't sit.
I have it tucked in my sock right now.
He can't sit down. He has to get around by standing up on a wheel.
No, it's been a problem. I have to say that sometimes it gets caught in revolving doors. Escalators are a problem, and I finally went to the doctor and I said, please help me. Can you do something?
The penal reduction.
He goes, yeah, we can. I said, we can make it a little. He goes, no. I go, no. Can you make longer legs?
There you go. It's a proportion problem. The other thing that has really hurt dating, and you may not have noticed, is there's a lot, and kids too, if you're a parent, same thing. There's 100 more ways to entertain yourself on a Friday night or a Saturday night than going out and sitting across from somebody you may or may not like for a while. So if somebody's like, oh my God, I can just watch
why would you go out with them if you don't like them?
A lot of people are going to be like, I'm not sure if I like them. I'm sure I like Netflix. I'm sure I like video games. I'm sure I like porn. I'm sure I like all these things. There's all these other stimuli at people's fingertips that people are like, I know I like that. I may not like this. I'm just going to do this. Sure. And so they're less likely. They're like, I can go eat sushi by myself.
Right.
Back in the day
when you and I was single. I was single. You've been single.
Yeah.
Way back in the day.
Yeah.
There was only 3 TV stations, right?
There were.
4, 5, and 7. Oh, and you had UHF. That was it.
I know.
Today, there's way too many options.
There's other things that people can do to have a fairly satisfying... I'm not saying
Did you have color TV when you were a kid?
Yeah, I'm not that old.
How old are you?
But a fairly amount of stimuli that people can have. And you're like, that. You know what? That was pleasant and that was entertaining. So it wasn't even about... And that's a problem because... I think the thing we did learn, or we should have learned in the last year, is all of that is not as good.
Right.
It's just not. And getting together with people, the people right now, they're like, I missed getting together with people. Those are the people you want to date. The people who are like, yeah, I didn't really mind. It was fine. It was the same. I liked the Zoom calls or whatever. Don't date those people.
Right.
The people who are like, Zoom dating was awesome. Fuck those people. You're not dating those people. Date the people who are like waiting for the bar to open after 14 months because they missed the feel of it and the sound of it and the vibe of it. And they want to. Those are the best. That's the best dating pool we've had 20 years is those people. The guys that are out now. You know, not the guys sitting at the craft brewery like, I'd like to try a flight of IPAs. And so not those guys. Those guys are fucking pussies. Don't date those guys. The ones who are like, I miss looking at live
The ones with
girls.
plumber's crack at the ball game? Which ones are we talking about here?
Talking about guys. I had a whole podcast on how craft beer ruined dating. But the guys who are like, I need to be out there because I just want to be around people of the opposite sex, good-looking people of the opposite sex, and feel that again. That's what you want to date, and that's what you want to find. You've done large events with lots of people. No matter how many, any of us tried to replicate that, and we did some virtual great love debates, it just isn't the same.
It's not.
It's not. And it's tough to describe what is different. You know, what is different? It's not just the touch. It's just sharing space with people. Sharing a, 100-person Zoom feed is just not the same. You know?
I'm looking forward to the events coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah. This Christmas we have the matzo ball. We'll be back in the nightclubs and
traditional Christmas fare, the matzo ball.
Absolutely, and it is what's the word I want to use here?
I don't know. This short-term memory loss is bad for my dead air. I might have to edit some of this out. But it's what is the matzo ball? So explain it to the lay people. I know what it is.
It's an event on Christmas Eve for single Jews, but we do draw a lot
Chinese
of
food.
Instead of Chinese food and instead of the movies, you go to the matzo ball. But we do draw non-Jews as well. But the matzo ball has become famous as a hookup, and a lot of people, get over at the matzo ball.
Yeah,
it's actually known as a meat market, a kosher meat market, actually. And
kosher meat,
yeah. Where the meat is always kosher. That was our tagline one year, which did not go over well with the rabbis in town. Matzo ball, where the meat is always kosher.
I
thought it was hilarious.
It's cured and yeah.
My little girl, I have a daughter that wears that T-shirt around town. She doesn't realize what it means, but it's funny when I see her wear it. The meeting in person and is no question, and those are the kind of people that you want to date because they're serious and
they are.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's very easy to hide behind a computer, very easy to hide at home, and
right.
No, that doesn't work.
It doesn't, and we're so used to hiding. We're hiding. In broad daylight.
What's it all about? I mean, you can't. You want to be intimate with this person. Ultimately, how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that from your couch on Zoom?
A lot of people, I can't even tell you, illness aside, love the masks because they love like nobody's going to talk to me, hassle me. I don't have to look at anybody. Like they're like, oh, this is an excuse. I'm going to wear this forever. It's that I can just sort of float through life while I'm out in public and not deal with anybody. It is the upside of it is better. The old risk reward. The reward is so much higher than the risk, especially, and that's what we tell the dudes all the time. The juice is worth the squeeze. I
remember what that Jewish girl told me. Okay, she told me that she doesn't like the online dating, and again, New York is that city that's like the busiest, loneliest city in the world. And I think that online dating is almost the same. There's so many apps and there's so many people on there that's so crowded that it's hard to pin it down because even if you take that girl out, you flinch. She knows she has 100 guys in her inbox. If she's hot, if she's a 9, 10, or 11, she has 100 guys in her inbox while you're out with her. So if you flinch,
right,
you pick your nose, you do something wrong, okay? You're out because she's going right back to the inbox, and that sucks.
Right, the inbox.
That sucks. Now, this girl told me, which was interesting to get a girl's perspective, a woman's perspective, 44 years old, attractive, never been married. She says I said, what's your second date ratio? She goes 100%. She always gives the guy the second date.
Good for her.
Good for her, right? I said, what's your third date ratio? Not so good. Okay, but she does give a 100% second date ratio. And she prefers to meet a man. She goes, I want to be picked up in a bar. I want to meet a guy that way. That's what she said.
The old-fashioned way?
The old-fashioned way. It's because I think they're just so burnt out on this app thing. It's
good
nauseating.
For her giving him a second date. The most walls come down between date 1 and date 2. People talk about date 3. People talk date 1. The most important date is the second date. You know you don't hate each other. You know you're not repulsed by each other. And after the first, as long as you mix up the activity a little, do something different the second time, so many walls come down between the first date and the second date that the second date, good for her. She should, unless you feel your life is in danger.
She might be for you, actually.
Yeah,
Are you with anybody right now?
Yeah, I'm good.
Are you?
So,
because she's hot.
They're all hot.
No, this one's hot.
She was a 9, 10, or an 11?
No, she's hot. She's hot. Jewish hot.
What is Jewish hot?
6
Jewish
with a
can be
trust
hot.
I'm kidding. No,
6 with a trust fund is Jewish hot. Jewish hot. Jewish girls, though, how do I put this? They tend to be a little friskier.
That is the rumor.
That's the rumor.
That's the rumor.
They don't have the Catholic guilt.
Yeah.
They
The funniest thing is that I tell my non-Jewish friends, my non-Jewish friends, should I go to the matzah ball? I go, you're not Jewish, right? He goes, yeah. I go, well, you'll get laid for sure. Okay, because the Jewish girl knows.
Fruit.
The Jewish girl knows, hey, you know what? Practice. Practice. He's good looking. Need some fun. Have some fun.
We've done various versions of our live show. We've done Jewish Great Love Debate. We've done Latina Great Love Debate. We've done Gay Great Love Debate. We've done them all. And we did an Asian one once in Los Angeles. And a quarter of the crowd was Chinese Americans. Mm-hmm. Quarter of the crowd was Japanese Americans. Quarter of the crowd was Korean Americans, and a quarter of the crowd was white guys who were like, I'm like, what are you doing here? They're like, I heard there was a lot of Asian girls here. So I'm like, I think you came to the wrong show, but that's it. All right. In the interest of time, this is the first time you've ever been on this podcast. We'll see if you get to come back. We'll see what the reviews are for you.
Okay.
We play something called worst date or first date, which means you have to either give us the absolute greatest first date you've ever had or the absolute worst date you've ever had.
Oy.
Your choice.
It's been a while.
So think back to your swinging single days or your swinging single hall pass, or a really good date. It could be a good date or it could be a terrible date. Up to you.
Well, obviously for men, I would say, and I'm talking generally, but, if you get laid on that first date, right, probably makes it a good date, right? Regardless of what happens, the date could
depends on what happens the next morning.
How about I give you a worst date and best date in the same date?
Perfect. Do it.
Okay.
Yes.
Date going horribly, right? Mm-hmm. Just you think you're dead in the water and this and that, and something happens and things turn, and she feels that you're it, and tonight's the night, and you get laid. Now, you had the worst time, and you didn't think there was anything going on with it, but you got laid anyway. Does that make it a worse date or a great date? Now, men, getting laid is like pizza, right? When it's good, it's great. When it's bad, it's still pretty good, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a great date, right?
Well, here's what. Most guys are going out on the first date. I don't even think they're hoping to get laid. I think they're hoping to find out that she likes me.
Well, a lot of women today,
women go out to get laid all the time.
They want, I think as you get old, certainly when I was out there and dating women in their 40s and whatnot, these women have an agenda. Like, they want to see if you're it. Like, they want to get you out of the way also. Like, yeah,
I know.
What's he like in the sack?
They need to check all the boxes.
Right. So if, you can get past that, they're definitely, they're on a mission.
Right.
Sometimes you feel like you're getting a little used on the way.
I know, and it feels terrible as a guy.
Does.
The first time that happens, I'm like, wait, what? We're not going to go out again? They're like, no, I'm good. Thanks. Thanks, I'm good. A guy usually is on the first date. He is hoping for whether he gets laid or not, he's hoping for a sign that she likes him, because if she likes him, he knows eventually he probably will. Mm-hmm. The date could go bad in both their perspectives, but he's like, oh, we ended up together. She must like me, which isn't necessarily 100% that's true either. But in his mind, he's going to think it went well because that happened. And that's not even about the sex. That's about the validation that, she must not think I'm repulsive. It must have been a good time. I'm at least going to go out again. A lot of women, like you said, they'll go out, do that. That's all. There's a huge percentage of women, and you've heard this too, where it's like, if I don't like the guy, I'll have sex with him.
Right. Well, I can,
that's a thing too. They're like, I'll just use it for that. And
right.
Then, yeah. Which is terrible.
Which is terrible. And all the women out there
many game playing. Don't do that.
Don't do that. That's terrible kidding. Terrible. Kidding.
You're not even playing games with them. You're playing games with yourself. You're like, don't use me.
I actually had I recall a terrible date. Was I dated this girl. She was gorgeous, blonde, and I like the blondes, right? But this one happened to be a neo